you are open about.
Welcome you, Minister, to the European Parliament. It is definitely not a socialist and a democrat idea that you have just mentioned.
The only question burning in my mind is how you can sleep at night.
Yet you take away the most precious what Syrian refugees have, namely their security of residence, their protection. And this is devastating for their health, for their well-being, and indeed also for their integration. You say it's going well with the integration of Syrians. You're playing with it now. Why doing so?
I would just finally say, please, Denmark, Social Democrats in Denmark, other progressive forces, get back in the game. Choose Nordic cooperation. Choose human rights, European human rights and international commitments. Don't choose Visegrad Club. Because quite frankly, all the talk about international obligations, Geneva Conventions, human rights, it sounds a bit like, you know, the wonderful new clothes of the emperor to me, because in reality, the emperor is naked. And if you say these ideas have been discussed in Europe for decades, I quote, sure, but usually not by the mainstream parties, because they still adhere to European values.
And the result is only that the Syrians are seeking protection in other EU member states. Denmark is working under the Dublin system with other member states based on mutual trust and with respect for the Charter of Fundamental Rights. Yet, this also includes the right to asylum and non-refoulement. How are you reconciling this mutual trust and this working with other member states where you actually are shifting the responsibility for Syrian refugees to, and your loyalty in terms of the treaty? Shouldn't you then be fair and withdraw from the cooperation under the Dublin system? Because now the member states are the victims, but of course the biggest victims are the Syrian refugees.
How do you expect people to actually integrate into Danish society if the sword of Damocles is hanging over their head every day? If they know that, one day they may be taken in and the next day they're booted out and they're sent back to Syria? How do you expect them to invest in their life in Denmark? So don't you make it effectively impossible for them to integrate? If the objective of this policy is to have a deterrent effect and make Denmark look inhospitable, well, it certainly worked, certainly amongst Europeans, because we think it's inhospitable. And isn't the truth here, isn't the real truth, that this is not a social democratic idea or a Danish idea, but isn't the truth that you're trying to cater to the far right that's breathing down your neck, and you're doing things which are actually not in line with all the nice talk? Yes, I'm coming to a conclusion, Madam Chair, but I think this is a very important topic, because you may not be bound by the immigration chapters of the European treaties, but you're bound by European values. You have signed up to the European treaties. You're a member of the European Union, and these policies are not in line with European values. Thank you.
Señor ministro, tiene varias preguntas concretas que